What's your thoughts on the Pep? Do you think he'll stay? Do you think he'll do one more year after this?
I think he'll do. Okay, so yeah, my understanding is that he was going to leave at the end of the season, but I think he's going to do one more year, and I think that will then legit be it. Like, I'm not even sitting here saying he'll do one more year and then maybe next year we'll sign him. No. I think one more year takes him to 10 years, and then I think he'll be off, and I think that'll be done. I also just don't think it's very clever to let your sporting director and your manager go in the same summer. I think that's very, very unwise, to be honest with you. Some people say, "Nah, it's a good thing. It's a refresh." People don't understand. Like, you know where we need a massive rebuild. Like, we need a massive rebuild, bro. We got no backup striker. Yeah, Kovacic is in his 30s. Gundogan is in his mid-30s, so he's literally fucking almost done. Kevin De Bruyne is almost done. He'll be gone at the end of the year. Kyle Walker is done. Yeah, we've still not got a new contract on Edison yet. Yeah, people think it's all rosy at City, mate. Like, I'm telling you now, man, like, this new guy coming in, Viana from Sporting Lisbon, and obviously Tiki is still here till the summer. They've got a big summer ahead. I genuinely think this squad needs 200 to 300 million pounds spent on it in the next 3 years. In the next 2 years, sorry. Because we got a lot of players to replace, mate. We got a lot of players to replace. We're losing key players, players that have been part of this squad for what, 7, 8, 9 years that are coming to an end. It's the end of an era for some of these teams. I think we're about to enter a rebuild, man. I really do.
And do you know what's interesting as well? If you go historically through the Europe and look at the greatest European sides ever, they've all had like a period like you have, where you've won, where for a 9-10 year period, they've been the best team in their nation. They've won most things. Repeating that, oh, for fuck's sake. I don't know what's happened. Repeating that after the stars of that team leave, it's got no reason to be doing this. I don't know why
it's been attacked by the Matrix.
Mate, it's mad. My laptop's breaking. But yeah, it's hard to replace those great players, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is, right, so I think De Bruyne's going to probably leave now at the end of the year, which is a bit gutting. So the only players that I can see right now in world football, and I'd be interested to know, if the chat agree with me, the only players that I see could replace Kevin De Bruyne is Musiala and Wirtz. And obviously them two are probably still a downgrade on Kevin De Bruyne, but anyone else is a massive downgrade. So for me, you have to get Wirtz on Musiala. The bad news is Musiala looks like he might be signing a new contract at Bayern. And apparently Wirtz wants to go to Bayern as well. They want them both. Yeah, that's greedy, mate. That is greedy. But we need to be targeting one of them. Listen, it's going to cost over £100 million. It's going to cost us a lot of money. But like, that's what you got to do. You know what I mean? When you lose a player like that, you've got to replace them with adequate quality. You can't try and cheap out, man. People are telling me about Xavi Simons. Nah, bore off, man. Xavi Simons to replace Kevin De Bruyne. What are we talking about here, man? It's got to be Wirtz, or it's got to be Musiala. Anyone else is a huge drop-off. Yeah? That's the truth, man. Like, you're losing Kyle Walker, one of the greatest right-backs we've seen in this country. You need to replace him with the quality, mate. And we've still not got a backup DM. So Zubimendi is the one that I would go for, man. But yeah, listen, I genuinely think we need to spend 300 million in the next 2 seasons.
I think you probably will. I think you probably need to. I can't feel too sorry for you in terms of your squad building because of what you've won, but I think you're bang on. If I'm honest with you, LB, I don't see many youngsters at Manchester City either. Like, I know you've just mentioned a few that are in their 30s. There's some that are touching that as well. Obviously, in a couple of years, Rodri will be one of those. Is Bernardo Silva, is he one of those? I guess
he's in his 30s. Yeah.
He's in his 30s. John Stones, he's got to be 29, isn't he?
He's John Stones. 29 or 30, yeah.
Yeah, so you're getting towards those
players.
Yeah, so you're getting towards most of your players now, either in their late 20s and 30s. So you are in a need for a rebuild. But you have got some young players, of course. You've got Foden. Oscar Bob, I think, is going to be a baller when he does come through. Obviously, he's going to be a top talent at the moment. He's injured. And I think that you will sign one of the big ones. I don't know if Florian Wirtz or Musiala, what their future holds. Apparently, Wirtz got a really bad injury last night, there's rumours suggesting. So I don't know.
I don't know,
apparently, yeah, I just something buzzed up on my phone earlier. I didn't go into it, but apparently there might be potential. They're assessing it, but it's potentially a bad one. So we'll see what the truth is there. It might have come out now that he's okay.
Oh, he's got a capsular injury to his right ankle.
What's that?
Yeah, I've Googled it. A capsular injury can occur in the shoulder, knee, finger, and involves the ligaments and tendons or other structures that surround a joint.
There we go.
Ooh.
There was rumours that it could be quite bad, but I don't know how bad it is. I think they're still assessing it. But Manchester City for sure, 100% have got some academy players coming through. I'm sure you've obviously got Foden and Bob and players like that to add to it. But you're right, man. You're right. You know, your goalkeeper's not young anymore. You've got a back line which is all towards its late 20s, other than Rico Lewis and maybe Gvardiol. The others in midfield, let's be real, Rodri has got definitely a good few years at City left, but he's getting towards the end of that kind of late 20s. And the majority of the ones you've spoken about need replacing. So, look, they do need a real build. This is why I think Pep might be able to do a little bit of a Fergie and say, I can squeeze one more year out here. And then he'll go. And then the new guy coming in has got a big rebuild to go for, in my opinion. But, yeah, interesting.
Question for you. There's a report yesterday, and we discussed this on the top 6. £150 million, would you buy Cole Palmer back to replace like KDB playing that kind of 10 attacking midfielder?
I was going to mention Cole Palmer,
would you personally sanction that yourself if you were in control, LB?
By the way, just disclaimer, yeah, I never wanted to sell this guy in the first place. I said it was a mistake. Yeah, I said it was a mistake at the time. Bro, why ask me that question, man? Yeah, I think your camera's playing up again, Terry. Yeah. Bro, like for me, I listen in the midfield. I'm looking at Wirtz and Musiala. I'm looking at one of them. But I would take Palmer back. Like, I think Palmer's absolutely beast, and we should never have sold him in the first place. I said that at the time. But yeah, listen, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'd sign him back for 150 mil. He's class though. He's class, and he's young. We should never have sold this guy, man. I said at the time it was a mistake.
You never should have, man. And then you got Doku to replace him. Crazy. Absolutely mad.
I was sold Mahrez for 25 mil.
Yeah, it's mad. It's crazy, mad. I mean, I think he's an absolute baller, Palmer, I must say, but I just don't see that happening. I think Chelsea have got him now. They ain't going to go anywhere. I don't think City will get him back. But Musiala or Wirtz are the two that I think would be fairly realistic for Man City, if I'm honest.
I think Wirtz is the one, Potsy, that like we've got a chance, because he is going to leave at the end of the season, isn't it? Surely he's not staying at Leverkusen next year. That guy.
It's a matter of where he goes, isn't it? As opposed to
exactly. So I think because we know he's leaving, we've actually got a chance of signing this guy because we know he's leaving. Whereas Musiala, I think this guy's going to sign a new deal. I'd be all over the Wirtz one, man. I'd be slamming 120 mils down on this guy and just getting him in. Young,
yeah, we've been
he's KDB style as well, man. It's KDB style. He's more of a passer. You know what I mean? And that's what KDB is.
Yeah, we were linked with him as well, man. I think he's an absolute baller, but I really do. But yeah, we'll see.
But that's the level you have to replace with, as you say, because if I look back to like Fergie's last great team, 08, 09, that time, like we replaced Cristiano Ronaldo with Valencia and Obertan. You know, we had Owen Hargreaves, whose knees packed up. He wasn't like, you had the likes of Tom Cleverley coming in to replace him. You think about like Rio and Vidic and Evra still haven't been replaced to this day. I mean, you actually argue Ronaldo's not been replaced. And a lot of that was Glazonomics at the time before the new TV money came in, and we weren't spending big. And that's actually what hurt us, is that if the new TV money had come in so we could spend big like post Fergie, you know, we should have really gone out that summer and bought the next best right winger in the world. We should have gone out and bought the best holding midfield player in the world available to replace the knees of to replace Hargreaves, whose knees let him down. We didn't replace.
Well, you tried to get Fabregas, isn't it? And you tried to get Bale.
Well, but that was all. Yeah, but that was all after Fergie. I'm saying in that sort of, if you go back to like 09 when Ronaldo left and Tevez left,
sorry.
And that's where. So we'd already created this hole and this gulf, and it was patched up by Sir Alex being. We had a very good team still, but we still had, like, we were calling Paul Scholes out of retirement, and as great as that was to see, what we really should have gone and done then. Forget what happened afterwards. We should have gone and signed Toni Kroos. That's what should have happened at that point. But that was when the Glazers weren't letting us spend money because the new TV deal stuff hadn't come through yet. And City have got to you can find another KDB that's 50 million that you might be able to develop into him, but it's hard because the standards are set. You need someone who can come in, hit the ground running and almost be at that level. And this is where City spending is then going to increase again. You know, you went through that period where you weren't one of the biggest spenders because a lot of your core you got in at good prices, 50, 60 millions. And then you built upon that. You're probably going to, as you say, in the next couple of years, you're not going to get lucky like you did with Haaland from a cost point of view. Because, you know, if you didn't have a buyout clause, Haaland was costing you 200 million. You're probably going to have to spend a good 400 to 500 million in the next couple of years to replace all these stars.
Yeah, I agree.
That are leaving. It's going to be an interesting time for City. But if we're able to keep Pep, the good thing is for me, I don't know how you see this, Potsy. I say me, we're not in the race really, but if he does just one more year, that must give you hope that Pep is going to leave.
Yeah, of course. Look, Pep's going to leave. That's for sure. But I just don't know when. I never thought he would go at the end of this season. I always thought he would stay. I was one of the minority that thought that, to be fair. There was a lot of Arsenal fans that were like, look, it's just one more year, guys. Then the 115 thing will come out and he'll go. I think we were getting ahead of ourselves, if I'm honest. I always felt he would stay. He looks happy. He doesn't look like he wants to leave to me, winning everything. So I think he will stay. But look, the one thing I will say, and it's really kind of similar to what LB was talking about, really, is this Manchester City side doesn't look like it can stick together for like 5 years like Arsenal's can. So that's the advantage we've got on that. The advantage that Man City have got is they've got a ridiculous manager and they've got a war chest that will allow them to build another side. So they're coming to the end of their kind of era or generation under Pep. And we're kind of, a few years into Mikel Arteta's and looking pretty good. So, of course, I still think we can win the league this season. I still got City winning it, but I still think we can. And I think next season we can as well. I want to win the league while Pep is still here. Let me make that very, very clear. I do not want to win the league and be told, well, we'll know why Arsenal won it, because Pep went. That is what will happen when Arsenal win the league. So that was why I wanted to win it last year, because Arsenal winning whilst Pep and Klopp were still there would have been a fantastic achievement for me and would have had to have been respected. But because we haven't now, it's got to be this season. And look, if Manchester City miss Rodri as much as they did in the last sort of similar part to last season, Arsenal were going to have to. I just don't think that Manchester City is showing any signs that they have potentially massively missed Rodri yet. Now, that might change in the last, in the next couple of months. But they started off without him and they were winning games. If Pep can sort something out with maybe a double pivot of Kovacic and Gundogan or whoever they want to put in there, Stones or even Bernardo, and they get it right, then maybe they won't miss Rodri quite as bad as they did when he was out in that short period of time last season. But if they do miss Rodri, Arsenal must, man. And what we must not do is, if it isn't Man City winning it, it has to be us, man. It can't be someone else winning the league. It has to be Arsenal. So, yeah, that's what I would say. But Pep leaving, it's going to happen. I don't think it will be at the end of this season. I think he'll potentially go one or two more after that. But, yeah, it won't be much more past that, I don't think. After over 10 years, it's very rare that managers stay longer than that now. It's very rare they get to 10 years. Very rare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, it is. I mean, look, as a United fan, I want him gone. I still think City will be highly competitive and win, but he's a game changer. And again, I don't want him doing 15, 20 years because he might win more Premier Leagues than Fergie. So I want him to go. I'm serious. Like for that reason, I'd also like to see Pep do something else, though. Again, this is just me from a footballing standpoint. I'd love to see him. It won't be Aberdeen, but take over an Aberdeen and make them one of the best teams in Europe. I'd love to see him take over an AC Milan and get them back to winning regular league titles and a force in Europe again. I'd kind of like to see him do something along those lines. I don't know if he will, but that's just me personally. But no, I get it from an Arsenal point of view. I'm a bit like, I would think about it from your perspective. I'd want to beat him. I would, if I was an Arsenal fan, I would want to beat Pep City as opposed to whoever replaces him. I think there's, again, and if Pep stays another 2 years and you can win it, it's all about legacy at the end of the day. If Arsenal could win it this season and next season, as an example, if it shits on Klopp's Pep Premier League legacy, and it also is a bit of one-upmanship on Arsene Wenger, who never retained the league title. So you've got to want to beat him. However, beating him is fucking hard, right? And